Hey guys, you're listening to the PetaPixel Podcast, where we talk about all the latest news in the photographic industry and more. But if you're looking for expert advice, incredible selection, and the best deals on photographic equipment, video, lighting, and more, you go to B&H. B&H is PetaPixel's new gear partner. And for even greater savings at B&H, we recommend the B&H Payboo credit card, which lets you save the tax. You pay the tax, and B&H pays you back instantly. You pay the tax, and B&H pays you back instantly. Save the tax on all eligible purchases shipped to eligible states. Or you can pay over time with our 6 and 12-month financing on minimum purchases of $199 for 6 months or $599 for 12 months. Terms apply. Learn more at bhphoto.com/payboo. Credit card offers are always subject to credit approval. Payboo credit card accounts are issued by Comenity Capital Bank.
Hey, did you miss us? Because we're back. It's the PetaPixel Podcast, and I'm here with Chris Nichols, much requested by the fans. Jaron Schneider, much requested by the fans. the same people who are here every week.
What?
Are back this week.
I don't know if I'm much requested. I think Chris is like a requirement. Like you have to show up, Chris, or no one will watch.
Dude, this minecart's going off the rails quick. Jordan, bring it back. Bring it back in line. Oh my God.
Okay, really quick. Guys, you might notice we missed an episode last week because we were traveling. And as a result, a bunch of news is piled up. So this week, we're going to address that. We're going to try and work our way through a mountain of news and get you all some interesting information. And do all of our usual segments as well. Your favorite, tech support.
Tech support, my favorite, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Giving back to the people.
But before that, I want to mention as well, like, things were a little bit different yesterday because all of us were on camera, which is a little bit different. And I'm really curious. So, Chris, you were shooting with a different cameraman. I was filming myself. And Jaron was also hosting, also with a different cameraman. I want to know, what was that experience like for both of you? How'd it go?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I was working with Levi Hallwell, who's a friend of ours for a long time. Yes, he's a legend. He's a very skilled videographer, editor. He makes tons of short films. He's helped us out on a lot of episodes, best and worst ofs, trail cameras, all the rest. So, of course, it went very smoothly. It was very easy because we've worked together many, many times. So, yeah, it was great. It was comfortable. It's always nice to catch up. We had a beautiful day yesterday. Yeah, nothing but nice stuff. Oh, and we went to lunch in Calgary. There's the Far East Shopping Center, which is right next to the Harry Hayes building downtown. And Pho Hoi is there, and it's very good. Pho Hoi is one of my favorite. But
been there.
Levi took me to Chengdu street food, and it's like Sichuan cooking, and it was some of the best. He had dandan noodles. I had the spicy beef noodles.
Did it bring you honestly, back?
It was one of the best meals I've ever had. It was so good.
What?
So
that good?
Yeah, Chengdu street food. Now I ordered the spicy beef, and appropriately, had I ordered spicy beef in Sichuan when we were in China, it would have killed me. Here in Calgary, it's very mild, right? But still, I mean, that's, calibrating for the predominant culture. But amazing taste, wonderful food. It was so good. I even went up to the lady at the end and I said, that was so delicious. It was amazing. And she's like, yeah, it is. I know. Yeah, it is delicious.
I don't need you to tell me.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, it is. It's so delicious. Like, yeah, okay, great. Yeah,
okay, I guess I'm leaving now.
Yeah, you're okay. So she fully agreed. Anyways, great experience.
Wow,
wonderful day.
Take me there when I come up to
Calgary.
Yeah,
100%. Chengdu street food. Oh
gosh, I got to stay for enough meals because you guys keep talking about food, so I've got to stay at least for 3 dinners at this point.
Incredible.
To answer your question, Jordan, I was out shooting with, for those of you who watched all of our videos, including the how we made a movie in Alaska video, you may remember a reference to Dima.
He was doing pull-ups. He's hot.
I went and
he's
just
blonde,
like Chris,
just powerful. Yeah,
I went and found my own tall white man to do video of me. The 2 Asian men got 2 tall white men. Yeah, Dima is
Levi's not that tall, just for the record. Just so everybody knows.
I'm just talking about Jordan. Levi's like
I know. Yeah.
You're both bad for our posture, for the record. It's a lot of looking down at a screen.
Yeah, like Dima usually props it up against his chest. Yeah. Anyway, Dima is joining the PetaPixel team, actually. He hasn't, we haven't published anything from him yet, but he's working on stuff. You can start to expect here soon, probably in July. He's making videos on Mondays. But he was helping me film the episode on panoramic cameras that I've been working on. And so that episode is now, I guess you could say it's in the can. It's like 90% in the can. We have some more shots of the cameras to get, because yesterday, while nice, was the hottest day it's been here all year.
Ooh.
It reached 95. We were out by some waterfalls, so it wasn't that bad. But I was pooped when I got back. Like, I clearly was like, all right, that was exhausting.
Nice shots, though. Nice shots.
I don't know. Maybe I was mostly there for the environment.
The beautiful environment.
It's not exactly the best time to go shoot waterfalls. Is like, in the sun in the middle of the day. Like, I was NDing, and
fair enough.
We'll see. I don't know if any of the pictures come out great, but it's mostly.
I'm excited to see that comparison because you're very passionate about the subject, and there's a lot of people out there that want to buy expensive film and blow it as quickly as possible. And a panoramic camera is one of the best ways to do that. So I think it's going to be great. I am legit excited to see the comparison between the cameras.
I did have to do a whole segment on why do you even want to do this when like you could just use crop on a GFX.
What do you get, like 4 shots out of 120 or something?
Yes.
3 shots? 4? Yeah.
4. You get 4.
4. That's
but you know what I like about that?
Bangers.
You can get maybe one banger per roll, and then you don't have to worry about having film left in your camera that you need to like finish the roll before you can finish that roll real quick. It's not hard.
If I got a roll developed from that and they were all bad, I would take me and the camera into a volcano, and
it happens to me all the time.
Yeah,
where I just get like a completely just like this roll sucks. Happens. Yeah. There you go, Jordan. There's your answers.
Perfect.
And how about you, Jordan? How about you?
Well, I have behind me here, you might see the silhouette of it, the little Insta360 Luna Ultra here. So I was reviewing that, but because I'm primarily looking at it as a device to film myself when Chris is off on merry adventures, which is definitely, or vacation if he ever wants to take one, I want an option to film myself that is a little bit easier. And I gotta say, I was disappointed with my ability to speak to a camera, but the experience of using the camera, that rocked, just to be able to like set it up on a table, have it track me, switch the lenses, you can remove the screen, check everything, adjust camera settings really easily without walking back and forth constantly. You can do playback while you're still standing there in front of the camera as well with audio. So so far you'll have to see what I think of image quality, everything like that, but just in terms of a tool to make your life easier, if you have to film yourself, this is probably the best thing I've found yet. So early recommendation.
Now, Jordan, of course, I don't want to get too far into it, but you're playing with this Insta360. We have also touched the DJI, and so obviously we're going to have a comparison for the viewers coming up shortly. Should be exciting, hey? We've seen both.
Yeah, exactly. We can't talk about the DJI in any length yet, but testing is ongoing, I can say that. And one thing I want to throw in about filming myself is the most valuable thing. Like, it's great to have someone to check composition and frame and stuff like that. The most valuable thing is when I just flat out misspeak. Someone to say like, hey, you called that camera the wrong thing or whatever. Like there were large stretches where I've called the DJI the Pocket 4K because that's a Blackmagic camera that existed. And there's a lot of those in the Luna, and I'm going to be editing them myself. So I still like to go out with a friend when I shoot these episodes. But overall, we got through it, and you can stay tuned for those results almost immediately after this podcast comes out. All right, we should start the show.
Guys, I've been working my butt off to make PetaPixel memberships so worth it that you would be a fool not to subscribe. So how am I doing? Here's all the perks. So first, this is just a kind of, I don't know, it's a gimme, a throwaway perk. There's no ads on the website when reading articles, which
but that's a big deal because ads are annoying.
They are exceptionally annoying, and reading the website without them is awesome. Let me tell you, I've been doing it for a while. Love it. You also get access to sample galleries. Great. Not everyone wants these, but if you do, you can take a look at the RAWs and JPEGs from every new lens and camera that we've been reviewing since we started doing this a year ago. So now there's like something like 60, 70 cameras and lenses on there.
Oh,
cool. You also get 5% off all pre-owned purchases from KEH.com, which means you buy like a $4,000 camera. That's substantial. Way more than covers the cost of your shipping and tax. Actually, yeah, way more than that.
Wait.
More. You get a $15 coupon to spend at the Moment store. Awesome. Just free cash.
You could have
Lots
the
of
same
stuff on there,
filter holder as Chris and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of stuff on there. They got backpacks, they got filter holders, they have accessories, they got lots of stuff on there. There's lots of cool stuff. Yeah.
But that's not all.
What?
You also now get 10% off lighting gear from Westcott. The lighting gear that Chris and Jordan regularly use on the show.
It's lighting me right now. Oh no! Now this leg is stuck on this.
That was
dramatic. So you get that.
It's lighting me now too. Take my word for it. I'm not going to go up and grab it.
10% off. 10% off. That's a huge one. But that's not all. You also can get 10% off all photo lab services at Blue Moon Camera and Machine. That is film development, film scanning, and all printing.
Wow.
10% off there. And by the way, for those who don't know, yes, Blue Moon Camera Machine might be here based in Portland, but you can mail them your film and they'll develop it. Their scanning is very good. In Chris's last episode, the TC1 from Minolta, all of those were printed. They were developed and scanned by Blue Moon.
I mean, look, I will say we have some labs nearby here that are good. We have some that aren't so good. And all the stuff that we've done through Blue Moon has been impeccably done. So that is nice. I've had zero issues so far.
10% off. But that's not all. 33% off an annual subscription to the Atmos for Weather and Photo app, which was made by a PetaPixel reader and a fan of the show. And he's like, hey, just go ahead and give this to members. So that is another one that you can use for planning your photo trips. It's a weather app that shows like how you should be prepared for like, adverse conditions, clouds, etc. So like, okay, that is a ton of perks now for $3 a month or $30 a year.
That's a ridiculous amount of perks. Yeah.
I feel like this is a good deal, even if you don't care about this show at all. This is still...
Right. Like, if you were just, like, completely for selfish reasons, this makes complete fiscal sense. But it does really help us out to do special projects. I mean, so far we've had a lot of members, and we really appreciate all of you guys sticking around and helping us out. But, like, we're not using this to buy our own products. We're not using this to like go on fancy dinners. We're using this to do special projects we think you guys will find interesting and that we certainly find interesting. So this is great because it's not just about fiscal sense. It's about like being part of a community. You're getting lots of stuff that helps you with your photography. We're getting to do special projects. It's very, 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 very helpful all around.
But even if you hate us, then this still makes good fiscal sense. So I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast if you can't stand us. But if that's the case, still makes sense to sign up for a PetaPixel membership for all those sweet deals.
This podcast sucks. I only watch Jared Poland, but I'm still going to get a membership because damn the perks.
Perks.
Fine.
You know what? I'm not even done. I'm currently trying to add more. There will only ever be more perks than this. I'm trying to get more in here. I'm talking to 2 other companies right now about adding perks. So stay tuned for more. Also, I'm just reminded, Chris is wearing a Harper Finch shirt, and so am I. Jordan's shirt's got Japanese on it, which is sick, but I don't think that's a Harper Finch shirt.
It's not a Harper Finch shirt. No, sorry.
We're working on the next drop of shirts right now, the next PetaPixel drop. So stay tuned for that as well. It's coming soon. Okay. All right. Let's loop back to what you were just talking about, because yes, last week, Insta360 announced fully the Luna Pro, I believe is what that one's called, right?
Ultra.
Ultra. Ooh.
So here's the thing. There's supposed to be another Luna. I don't know where that is. I haven't seen what happened to that. But this wasn't supposed to be launched when it launched.
No.
By the way.
Which is why we're scrambling right now with this overheating test that's going on right behind me. And little spoiler for that episode too. This thing's been going for almost an hour and a half on 4K. Pretty respectable overheating performance on that.
Yeah, the original date that we were told for this thing was supposed to be sometime this week.
Yeah.
They were aiming for the 18th, which is, you know what, when they're going to get their review, because that's when we put it on the board. But what happened was last week, B&H just had it available to buy and you could pick up in store. So like people were doing it. In fact, I know someone who went there, bought it, picked it up. The thing was, it was a brick because it requires the app to activate it.
Yeah,
so you couldn't turn it on and do anything with it. But I think Insta360 was like, well, shoot, they can see all the specs because it's in the manuals there. It tells you everything about it. So like that had effectively broken the embargo. So they moved it to the day after that, pushed it up a week, and surprised all of us. So like, what's funny is like an hour before that happened, they had just told me that they were confirming the 18th as the NDA day. And then like an hour later, like, actually, no, it's tomorrow. So there you go.
There's some drama going on. And we're going to talk about that here in the news. Like Jordan and I were in Toronto for the DJI event. And I'm sure you saw a lot of other YouTubers, influencers, stuff out there as well, showing off the new product. So yeah, it's weird that these two companies are making a product that is so similar, and there's obviously some drama there, and they're releasing at very similar dates. And so, who knows? Was it like a sneaky way for Insta360 to just like beat DJI to the punch? I don't know. Wild, but that drama continues, doesn't it, Jaron?
Yes, the drama is basically I think DJI was just waiting for Insta360 to launch this product officially.
Move. Yeah.
Because as soon as this thing launched, day after, DJI filed 2 lawsuits in the United States asserting patent violations. One of them is a set that is based on design patents, and the other one is based on utility patents. They're claiming that the look of this they own in a patent. And then there's a couple of the design patents for like functionality of, not design patents, sorry, utility patents, functionality of how it works and what it does.
Yeah.
Okay, not entirely surprising. And this lawsuit had been in progress essentially since they revealed it at NAB. So like they were just sitting on this, waiting for it to hit market. Well, 24 hours later, Insta360 countersued and is asserting violations of 5 utility patents that Insta360 holds. So these two companies are about to go to court and try and get each other banned from selling the product. And the reason Insta360 says it's countersuing is because DJI is suing them, and the only way for them to defend is to do the same back.
Wow.
I can see why DJI is doing it, but it's mostly because like they can't sell this product in the US. It's not being imported. Yeah. So like I guess they don't want anyone to sell anything like it here if they can't.
I mean, it's interesting they filed in America as well.
Yeah.
It's an American lawsuit going on, even though DJI can't sell there. Sorry, Chris, I cut you off.
Yeah. No. I mean, it is fascinating. I mean, DJI being banned from the States to sell any new products, that's a huge fiscal loss if Insta360 can make a similar product and sell it there, right? Like that's a huge opportunity for Insta360. At the same time, like, look, if we look at it from DJI's perspective, the Pocket has been out for many, many years, and it has a very unique design structure. And yeah, the Insta360s are very similar to that, aren't they? I mean, it doesn't take
that
rocket
thing back there probably looks a lot like a Pocket to people watching on YouTube.
It really does, right? And so I get it. It was also fun. Like, first off, I want to say Toronto, never been, amazing city, loved it. Everybody super friendly, cool architecture, great art community. Like, it was a really great experience. I really enjoyed it. But it was interesting that nobody does events in Canada, and then all of a sudden DJI for the first time does an event in Canada like this, brings us out to a Canadian city as Canadians for the first time. And it's like, yeah, because they can't do something in the States. It's wild.
They're doing one in Mexico while we're recording this. So they've done like America as the meat of the DJI press event sandwich and the events of the bread. Yeah.
It's become a battleground. And I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting for us to all learn about and watch and listen to. So interesting.
By the way,
news.
I'm fairly certain these two companies hate each other.
Yeah.
They
think so?
Absolutely despise each other. And that is leading to them being particularly petty and vindictive.
I mean, they're fighting. It's classic corporate battle, right? They're fighting in the exact same arena. There's lots of extenuating circumstances.
Can still sense how much they despise each other.
Well, and yeah, we've already reported on with the 360 cameras and DJI getting into that market, specifically that there are employees bouncing between the companies, bringing all of that intellectual property along with them. And I can say, the app for the Pocket 4, the non-4P, definitely out there right now, and I've been using the Luna, and those phone apps are the same app basically.
Oh, shoot.
It's
really?
Oh, yeah.
really,
And I mean,
very
both
close.
companies make drones, both companies make microphones, right? Both companies make gimbals. Like, they're just on top of each other. Yeah.
There's one more brand that I'd like to squeeze in here because I'm going to cover them because there's really no reason why we shouldn't. Are you guys aware of Extra Tech?
I am aware
No.
because I often search for things to see if they're suddenly available at B&H Photo before they've been announced. And it says that's not out, but you should take a look at the Extra. So I am aware and I am curious.
So we're talking with Extra. It is my understanding that they will be sending us units of their Extra. What is it even called? It's not called. It's okay. For those listening, Extra is DJI in a trench coat. It is exactly the same product, just distributed by a different brand. There's been investigations, not by us, by other, I think The Verge did it, where they went and looked at Extra's app, and it's DJI's app. DJI's code is still in there. And they're making their version of the 4 and 4P. It's the same product. It's exactly the same. It's the Muse. Is it called the Muse? The Muse 2 and Muse 2 Pro, I think, is what they're called. This is how you get a DJI Pocket in the United States: is you buy an Extra, and it's the same thing. So, yeah,
Sounds like a video.
So here's the thing: somebody commented because DJI is suing Insta360. DJI is obviously going to sue Extra, right? Because they're doing the same thing. And it's no.
No.
And I'm sure there is a very nice legal licensing agreement between DJI and Extra that makes it okay. Behind the scenes, that's how it's done. But if there is someone who is, quote, ripping off DJI, it would be Extra, since it's the same product. Very weird. All right. Apple at WWDC released, this is not an exaggeration, 100 YouTube videos in the span of 24 hours. I think it was 111 YouTube videos in the span of 24 hours related to new tech and app development and software development around everything that they announced at WWDC last week. And in one of those videos, they strongly detail an update to their RAW processor, which is almost a decade old now. And so this will significantly improve the software's ability to interpret raw data. And what they're showing is vastly improved sharpness, vastly improved low light performance. And I want to also make sure for anyone listening, this is not for just Apple Pro RAW. This is for all RAWs that they support. And I think that the jump between where they were and where they are headed is really, really cool looking. That is a substantial improvement.
Yeah, and for Mac users, it's easy to tell if a RAW file is supported natively in the OS. Then you'll be able to see a preview, you'll be able to hit the space bar, and it'll pop right up for you. And yeah, you might notice that doesn't look as good as when I bring it into my dedicated RAW software, that little preview. And for me, because I use something that natively uses Apple's codec, that's Final Cut, if I bring RAW files into Final Cut, they look bad. So I don't do that. I use other software and screen cap them or export JPEGs to show what the RAW files look like. So having something that's a little more compelling is, a little more current, honestly, is actually going to make a big deal for people. As well, if you want to process some of those RAW files on your iPhone or your iPad, that means you're going to see these same benefits as well.
So this is what the explanation is from the developer that is on the video. His name's Hayward. The initial raw data parsing and demosaicing process is integral to all raw processing software. All that raw image sensor data has to be interpreted by software before it can be viewed or processed. This is the essential function of Apple's core image raw processing engine, which is seeing the update. And I'll put a couple of the side-by-side examples here.
So I guess the thing is here is like, I'm not a Mac user except for the iPad, and
So this should
I've
help
never.
you.
No, well, I don't know, because I've never used Apple RAW, because why would I, right? I mean, the results were bad before. You got Lightroom, you got Capture One. Why would I use it, right? So, and I never used Aperture because I wasn't a Mac user back in the day then. Yeah, so it's like, if they're improving this is great. I guess the relevance is, what's the support going to be like? Why would I use this compared to Lightroom or Capture One?
You probably wouldn't yet. And I think the reason I'm excited about this is it should affect Photometer and Pixelmator and any app that relies on Apple's RAW processor.
Final Cut.
Yes.
So I incorrectly assumed that this was something for their iPhone support. And that was my mistake. And it's not. This is their actual overarching RAW technology, which, if they're trying to improve, and clearly they are, that's great. I mean, fantastic. Why not? I mean, we have talked about how it'd be nice to have Apple come back with a RAW processor. The big thing is still going to be, though, is it going to be enjoyable to use? And is it going to support models quickly, right? And I know that's
the issue.
That's more an issue for us in our industry than it is for the average user, of course.
Well,
but
in some cases, it was an actual use case for average users.
Sure,
there were some OM cameras that went like 7 years without support,
which is crazy,
bananas. That's gotta be improved. So that's one thing we mentioned in here is like, it's nice that they're updating this, but they also should be a little more diligent with adding new cameras to the system. They're a little slow.
I'm skeptical about the use case, not so much on a MacBook, but on iPad and mobile. I still feel like the iOS is just awful for previewing images, for letting you go through your photos quickly. Like, and I've brought these up to Apple and they've addressed it 0%. So I'm really surprised by that. But yeah, like previews, absolutely terrible. There's no easy way to like close your files. They build up and get really slow. Quick looks, I still cannot go back past the first photo that I've opened. I can only go down the list, but I can never go back past. It's weird, just weird stuff. I don't know. Yeah. It makes it frustrating to organize, move, that kind of stuff. You have to use third-party apps, which, so I don't know.
I mean, one thing we can all agree that is going to be useful is if you send someone a file and you open it on an iOS device, if that's a RAW file, it's going to look less trashy now, which is great.
Yeah, but you're still not going to necessarily process it, right? I mean, better thumbnails is fine, but that still doesn't help most people, right?
Yep.
But the results look better. Sure, absolutely.
I'm glad they're changing it, because it's kind of odd how long. So like, if you look at the history of this, like they were updating their RAW processor, it looks like every 2 years or less for a while there. So RAW 5 was in 2012, RAW 6 was in 2014, RAW 7 was in 2016, RAW 8 was in 2017, and then nothing until now. So they really sat on RAW 8 for nearly 10 years, and we're finally getting RAW 9 at the end of this year.
Now, what I will say, where I was kind of going with, is clearly Apple is using, air quotes, AI-based technology to improve their image quality here in the pipeline, and machine learning, deep learning, all that kind of stuff, which is perfectly natural. But I kind of feel like Apple is maybe going to start to slowly push more into this AI world. They kind of have this reputation as being the one manufacturer that's like, we want to keep things real. I don't know about that anymore. I think that's changing quite rapidly. So we'll see. That's a story for another time.
Yeah, well, I want to wait and see for this to actually get released and actually see their next piece of hardware before really casting judgment on that. But I'm there with you. So I just want to quickly mention this. The company that owns a huge number of brands, including AOL, Eventbrite, Evernote, Bright Cove, and recently purchased Filmic Pro, Vimeo, and WeTransfer. Those are the ones that we would know about. And if you would know those brands, you would know that the company that bought them is not making them better.
No, I was about to say all products that have improved dramatically over the last few years. No.
Sarcasm.
Yeah.
Filmic Pro went from being the filming app on iPhone to being completely ignored. Vimeo got awful and their pricing model got atrocious. WeTransfer got way more expensive and slower, and they were also using AI. They're trying to train AI on what it was being transferred. Yeah, which is they got called out for that. Anyway, that company is called Bending Spoons, and they are based in Italy, but they are they're going to IPO in the US because that's where you IPO if you want to make tons of money. And they're looking for a $20 billion valuation now after what their entire business model is to vacuum up brands and make them terrible and exploit them as much as possible and fire everyone who works there. That's the other thing I want to mention. In the case of WeTransfer and Filmic, 100%, they fired everyone from both those companies within a month of acquiring them, at least with Filmic. With WeTransfer, they fired all of their devs within a month, and then they fired everyone else within 6 months because they had like a separate division that was doing other stuff that they hung around for a little bit more. And I know this because I knew people who worked at WeTransfer.
Probably once those devs streamlined everything properly going forward to keep it stable, then they're like, okay, thanks.
See you later.
Bye.
They move everything internally into their office in Italy, and then they dump them. So what?
I'm thinking Blade Runner is going to be the post-apocalyptic model. Like I kind of go back and forth. Jordan and I have talked about it. Jordan's more like Terminator 2. I'm like, I'm thinking more Blade Runner.
How about Cyberpunk? I think Cyberpunk's pretty close to it too. Except for not the cool,
Cyberpunk and Blade Runner are very similar, but yes, I think that's where we're heading to. But we might all burn in a nuclear holocaust. Who knows? But I'm thinking it's going to be Blade Runner.
Anyway, these are the good vibes you listen to the PetaPixel podcast
I put this
every
on
week.
Here because, like, when Filmic got purchased by Bending Spoons, they seemed, the people, the founders of that company seemed to be genuinely excited about getting what they thought was going to be an infusion of resources to make the app better, and they were seemingly surprised when they all got laid off. So, like, if there's ever a company out there that thinks, hey, we could get acquired by Bending Spoons to make our product better. No, that's not going to happen. They're going to acquire you. You can probably get a payout, but then you will not have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Let's come back to a happy place.
Viltrox.
Because they make me happy.
Viltrox last week announced 2 new portrait primes, a 75-1.8 and a 90 f2.2. I do love compact, slightly slower primes.
Yep.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm, excited to play with them. The Evo line definitely represents a very affordable way to get into it. I have not touched these yet, but I'm looking forward to playing with them. But I have used some of the other Evo lenses in the full frame lineup. And I like that. Viltrox seem to be building lenses very, there's nothing flashy here, but they're built well. They're solid. They got nice construction. They feel good. I love the addition of aperture rings. I feel like more and more lately, I'm really getting on the aperture ring thing. I'm getting on the aperture ring. You want it now. I like it. I desire it. I like having it. Yes.
Yeah. So these are APS-C only, Chris, which means they aren't actually 75 and 90s. They're even deeper than that, which is somewhat disappointing. I kind of want 75 just to be 75.
But they have already made Evo lines in the full frame lens lineup for 85s and stuff. And they do, I think, already have, if I'm not mistaken, 56 millimeter lenses. I think that's already a thing. So this is really to kind of give you, Jordan's favorite focal lengths that he really likes to have.
112? That's what the 75 comes out to.
No, perfect portrait. Yeah. Perfect portrait length. And then the 90 is going to give you that sort of 135 that Jordan loves. So this is designed to be that tighter capture, soft background, really separate your subject, as far as not having a lot in the background to worry about. Yeah, I'm excited.
It is nice that they're making APS-C lenses because it seems like the manufacturers have no interest in doing so. It's odd it's not available on Canon. They should try because Canon would be open to this.
It might take some time because we've seen that before, a little bit of a delay. But even just looking at Z mounts now, adapting those big 1.8 full frame lenses, which are actually pretty pricey over to this is a much more compelling option for the people who are actually grabbing Z52s and ZFCs and stuff like that.
Nikon, of course, need all the support they can get, right?
Yeah, and Fujifilm, it's always nice to have more stuff on Fujifilm.
I don't know that Fujifilm makes anything long like this, hey?
The 90mm f2 is one of my absolute favorites, the 90LM.
The 90. The 80 macro is a pretty nice alternative as well. Never mind.
These are cheap. They are cheap.
Cheap.
Which is what Viltrox is, doing well. These are all both under $500. The
and the autofocus.
$400.
Yeah,
The 75 is
autofocus.
329. The 90 is 369. I mean, if you wanted to get into photography and you didn't have a lot to spend, Viltrox certainly is making a strong argument for picking up primes, and I bet they perform just fine.
I mean, that's what we're going to test, right? I mean, but so far, Viltrox has proven themselves to be very consistent. You know, the autofocus is working well. There'll be STM motors. That's fine. You know, I mean, and accuracy has always been good. I mean, eye detect and everything. I haven't had any issues. But they also tend to get bokeh down pat pretty well. So this would be very popular for wedding photography, fashion work, anything like that. I think that, you know, it's going to be great for commercial shoots. So yeah, eager to play with it.
Well, this should come as no surprise, but Zeiss has discontinued its Otus DSLR lenses. I'm actually kind of surprised it took this long.
They had a lot of inventory, I'm guessing.
But yeah, the Zeiss lenses for Canon EF and Nikon F mount, the 28, 55, 85, and 100 are all marked as discontinued.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame that we haven't seen a mirrorless version of the 28 or the 100 yet before replacing this. So that means there is still a gap if you're determined to have all Zeiss for the 3D pop, so you can jump on forums and talk about that extensively.
Yeah,
I'm not referring
obviously,
to anyone in particular there.
There's nothing stopping them from making more mirrorless Otus lenses in the future. I mean, that's, you know, they are still going with that.
Yeah. I never used these, and I think because in the DSLR era, I could not rely on myself to manually focus for photos with any reliability.
Yeah, back in the day, these were the sharpest lenses we had at the camera store. There was a real appreciable benefit to using these very big, very expensive lenses back in the day for sure.
But not anymore?
No, and I mean, back in the day, they did give you something unique, but that doesn't change the fact that they are huge, physically huge to mount on the camera. I mean, the first time we saw the Otus, I guess maybe the 55 mil is the first time I sort of experienced it. And you're like, this lens is humongous. Like, it's gigantic. The image circle it projects is huge. So much glass. And then you saw Sigma kind of copy that trend with their art series of lenses, doing the same thing, oversizing the lens, making the corners really good because of that. Lots of light. Like, yeah, but they were big. They were physically big. But, you know, DSLRs are big. We were all stronger men back then. You know, I don't know. It's happened now.
My back has gotten very tired over the years.
Yeah. No, yeah. Weak arms and poor back. So I'm all for like tiny APS-C lenses. Go Viltrox!
The next two stories are very Jordan-esque. So we're going to lean into your knowledge, Jordan. The Cinelux 16 shoots Super 16 film and digital video simultaneously.
It looks cool.
The thing that rocks here, because I experienced something pretty similar with the Kodak Super 8 camera recently, where it had a video tap coming out. Now, that was to help you focus and frame things up. There was no optical viewfinder on it. The downside there is it was basically just giving you an auto-exposing area. So even in low light, it didn't reflect your actual exposure that you were shooting. The focus was quite difficult because it was always just shifting the gain mid-shot, even though that had no representation of what was happening to your actual footage. I remember saying, like, I keep forgetting to check the spot meter because I look at my frame, everything looks good, I roll, and then I'm like, oh, damn, I'm 5 stops underexposed here. Where this is really trying to make the digital interface as close an approximation as possible to what you're actually capturing. So if you've got a DIT there on set, you can be like, look, here's the look of the stuff coming in. We can be making editorial decisions. They can be doing rough grading even is their intention, just predicting what the 16 millimeter film is going to look like coming right off of it. So you can start that entire process while you're waiting for your film to get developed, sent back to you. It's a proxy system, so then you just slap your actual 16 millimeter footage in. All of those edits you made to the digital version are applied, which is a brilliant workflow that'll work incredibly well if all things work well here. But I am a little concerned they're saying, like, we're doing some development on emulating Super 16 as closely as possible so you can grade it, which is something that dedicated companies have struggled to do for a very long time, things like Film Convert and stuff like that. So just starting from scratch to do that seems it's a very big lift compared to like designing hardware. Those are two totally separate skills. So we'll have to see how close this digital image actually looks to the 16 millimeter film that you get out. But even if it's a ways out, at least to be able to just hand that off to your editors with sound sync while you're working, it's going to open up a lot of creative possibilities, but is going to be expensive. I will tell you.
Yeah, like crazy expensive. 60 to 90,000 is kind of what we're surmising at this point. Like,
they're saying like comparable to some like high-end Arri 16 millimeter filmmaking cameras. Right. So that's kind of what you're looking at. And if you look at the cost of shooting and developing 16 millimeter film, if you're doing a full feature film on it, then the cost of the camera is actually going to be pretty marginal at the end of the day.
Right. So do we have, this is doing a pretty clever thing where it's simultaneously like not skipping frames, but in between each frame, it's doing a digital and then a film exposure, right?
Yeah.
How is it doing that physically? Do we know?
Well, when it's exposing the other part of the image, then your gate is closed on either the digital or the filmmaking. It's like, just like a 180-degree shutter that's swinging around. And when it's exposing one part, it's not exposing the other. So you still get a smooth look of motion, and it's just doing one after the other. I mean, there may be issues with like very small offsets or something like that. I'm curious.
Yeah,
but I assume that the
confused
cameras
how
and the sound sync and everything would be compensating for that. And I'm not a mechanical engineer.
No,
it makes sense to me.
I'm just curious. I'm curious to understand how they're getting the digital sensor and then the film into the same light path, like one after the other at high speed. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, there must be a mirror or something like that. Yeah.
Jordan, can you explain to me the benefit of Super 16? I don't really know anything about Super 16 as a format.
I mean, it really sits as a nice middle ground. This was your classic independent film stock, way more affordable than Super 35, but it's grainier. But it does have a real look to it without looking amateurish in the way that a lot of Super 8 film can look. And people are using it regularly for that particular aesthetic. Like one of my favorite recent films, Happy Christmas, all shot on 16 to have kind of a 90s indie film look to it. Or there's a recent episode, it was a standalone episode of The Bear. It was someone's name. I forget what it was, but same thing. Shoot it on 16 so it feels a little bit grittier. And yes, it does definitely have a look. The grain is very visible, even if you're looking at it in like 2K, especially like 4K, things like that. So if you're looking for a vintage film kind of look, it's gonna definitely cut differently than digital. Where if you do like a beautiful scan of Super 35 film, if you're watching something on a beautiful 4K disc, something I do regularly, then it can look almost digital at that point because it's so clean. This still has a real grittiness to it, and filmmakers are still using it.
Interesting. Well, cool.
All right.
I don't think we'll ever be able to get one of these for you, Jordan, but if we did...
I know. I'd love to talk to someone who's shot it. That would be fun.
It just sounds like shooting an episode with this would be wildly expensive.
Oh, you need a crew.
Hang on, because looking back, we had the cinematographer from Severance on, 16 millimeter on the award-winning episode there.
There you go.
So maybe she'll shoot something on that. We could have her back on the show. That would be awesome.
You're right. That episode... that was a really good looking episode. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. The next story is also a Jordan story, but I have some light input on this as well. Metabones, a name that I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. Has
I
upgraded.
have one in a box right over there that I haven't opened in a very long time.
Yeah, I remember the little plastic case that it came in.
Yeah.
They have upgraded their EF to Micro Four Thirds adapters and are promising near native Micro Four Thirds autofocus performance with adapted lenses, which is a big statement to make. And I don't know. Here's how it says. They have unveiled what they call true PDAF technology, which Metabones promises to improve phase detect autofocus and in-body image stabilization performance such that an adapted lens is, quote, often practically indistinguishable from a native lens. Boy, this would have been cool 10 years ago.
That's exactly where I came to. Is we used the older Metabones, like everyone else, with the Sigma 18-35. We'll touch on that here in a minute. But yeah, it was a manual focus solution. You could do like point-to-point autofocus for stills photography. If you're doing like macro or reproduction work or something like that, but you couldn't use it practically to capture action. And there were endless updates to make this a little bit more consistent, but it just never quite got there. And then at a certain point, everyone sort of moved on past that as we started to see more full frame mirrorless cameras that were capable video shooters. That was the big gap there for a while. It was like, you want to use a DSLR or do you want to use a Panasonic GH? Those were your two options. And if you wanted a GH, these adapters were essential. That's not the case anymore. So yeah, it feels like I'm glad they got there eventually. I'm sure there are still some people using this, but the market for it has really gone away at this point.
Yeah, the speed booster portion of using the 18-35 Sigma was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. On that note, this only works in some specific circumstances. For one, they note that the optimal autofocus performance that they've promised here is only on the Panasonic GH7 or Panasonic G9 II. Okay, those are both
cameras with phase detect autofocus. That makes sense.
Sure.
And then they have a list of supported EF lenses that work with it. And it's a pretty long list. Like, we've got tons on here from Canon, from Sigma, and from Tamron. But I'm looking, and there is a glaring outlier here that is not on this list. Jordan?
The combination, the aforementioned Sigma 18-35, which was basically the default lens for GH4 and GH5 shooters for many years, is not on there, which is definitely disappointing. One thing I do think is... One thing I think is hilarious is a long time ago, Chris and I went and talked to Panasonic, and that was the combination I was using. And I was like, just make this. And then they made the 10-25 f1.7 shortly thereafter, which made this combo a lot less compelling because now suddenly you did have a native lens. That would get you a good normal zoom with shallow depth of field.
I think it's also, this might change in the future, but it's also important to point out that a lot of the latest OM system cameras are not well supported on this, right? You can use them, but you're not going to get that same functionality. So there's lots of caveats and buts in this Metabones release.
I really liked this company, man. I was a big Metabones stan 13 years ago. And like, it's just like seeing them in the news in 2026 was like, whoa, blast from the past, bruh.
Yeah, man.
But I'm not buying.
Well, we got a lot of news. We got to get hammering through here.
Well, there's more. This one is somewhat tangentially related because the word Panasonic's involved. This is weird because this basically never happens to Panasonic.
No.
But it did happen here. They released the update that they announced actually when we were in Osaka, Chris. They announced that they were bringing an update to the S9 that would give it the full functionality with the new app. That functionality did not go well in implementation. We've linked to some pictures. If you guys are in the story, there's a link there that says the words "experienced major issues." It goes to a Facebook link. I recommend taking a look at these major issues. Because, oh boy, we're getting some striping and some image quality issues is the best way to say this. How odd that this happened to Panasonic. Although I was talking to Jeremy about it, and we sort of have to remember that not only are we dealing with different users attempting to upgrade this different ways. Now, this actually happened when you tried to update it through the app, which is one of two ways that you can do this.
Right.
There are some communication things you have to think of. What version of the app or in what version of the phone is someone on? Then what version of the camera's firmware was someone on, and are they updating to? And like, these are so many permutations of what these developers have to think about when they're deploying.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Yeah.
It's not surprising this happens.
No. But it's also interesting, I would say, because Panasonic's not alone. Hey, I feel like a lot of companies lately have been doing some firmware updates that haven't gone as smoothly as they would have hoped. So, yeah, it's obviously a very difficult thing. You have to support multiple devices, multiple kinds of smartphones and apps. And as you say, like it's not an easy, straightforward process. you could argue it was actually far more easy and straightforward in the dark ages when we would have to put an SD card into our card reader, download a file off the internet, and upload it. But that did. Yeah, and you can, and that does actually avoid a lot of issues. Yeah, that does avoid a lot of issues.
Clearly the app communication situation that something went wrong in the wirelessness.
I'm sure they will solve it, but it is difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that every year I'm like, who is the king of firmware updates? Is it Nikon or is it Panasonic? So Nikon, you just got a little bit of a leg up here because last year they had their Tamron incompatibility issues. This year, Panasonic's having their app issues. So let's see who takes the crown in 2026.
So there was a Sony update recently that I don't think bricked any cameras.
No, that was part of our news story. It's like Sony has released firmware and not bricked any. Yeah, it was a big deal. I cheered, I believe.
Yeah. So Sony this year's winning, which is crazy.
What a dark horse in the firmware wars.
All right, moving right along. Chris, your favorite camera and the world's favorite camera from 2025 is seeing a 2026 drop. The Kodak Charmera Millennium Edition was announced today. It's bringing with it 7 new designs, that includes one secret, special, hidden design because these are blind box
because that worked really well.
Yeah, these are Y2K themed. They are identical internally to the previous one, like from hardware components. They did change the filters, and they added new frames that you can take with inside this app. And then, of course, the externals are all different.
That are supposed to take you right back to the heyday of Y2K, the turn of the millennium, which, I guess I'm the target audience for this camera. Obviously, I am going to,
Gen Z
you're right.
wants to pretend that they are
there you go.
millennials.
Okay, so I'm the target audience for Gen Z to try to replicate and relive, and you should leave it alone because that was my generation. Don't touch it. It was a perfect generation, and it should never be touched. How do I feel about this, Jaron? Clearly, the Charmera is all about marketing. They did a great job on it. Obviously, a lot of Ritos cameras are going to be fantastically designed.
They're the same company that made the Snappic A1, by the way, for anyone listening. That's
which is actually a nice little camera. Yeah, but you know what I like about that is that people might buy it and continue to use it in the future. And I'm really starting to get this not nice feeling about all these companies making this e-waste. And I know that's always been a thing. It's not like a new thing, but it's starting to bug me more and more and more. Because the Charmera, the original Charmera exploded as the must-have Christmas gift for photography-related peeps. And it was going to $70, $80, $100. People were all the stores were trying to cash in on this, and it was very rare and very expensive. And
let me tell you,
in the end, it's a crappy camera. It's a POS camera, undoubtedly.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's a 1.6 megapixel piece of garbage, but the idea is that it's cute.
Yeah.
And some people actually like the crummy pictures it takes, but these were so popular.
Do they though? Because I know we should ask Sarah Tang, who's part of the PetaPixel team. I'd be curious to know. Yeah, I'd be curious to know because everybody and their dog bought these, and then you go and you're like, it's so fun and it's so small and it's on my keychain, blah blah blah, and then you look back and after a while you're like, these photos are garbage, and the frames are cheesy and yucky, and am I really gonna still shoot this? Am I gonna be inspired to take pictures on this 2 months from now? And I think the answer is, for the most part, a resounding no. And I know there'll be a couple of people that are like, yeah, I love it, I use it every day. But most people, I think they're like, where is that thing? I don't know, who cares? Or they give it away or they sell it in a garage sale, and it's just a waste. It's a waste.
So Sarah says she loves this. Firstly, I sent her this. She's like, this is great. And I asked, Chris is asking if you still like your mini cameras. I do, but I'll admit they hardly ever get used.
There we go.
But the idea, the concept, always good.
Is it though?
I threw this up on Threads a little while back, but I haven't talked about it on the pod, is when Chris and I were shooting the Sony 1-400 millimeter at the zoo, shooting birds there in this wonderful little enclosure. A dude right beside us was also shooting the birds with a Charmera.
Yes.
And I bet those pictures did not turn out.
Oh, that reminds me. Go ahead, Chris.
I bet you that was like his first or at least very early experience with the camera. He's like, oh, this is cool. Someone gave it to me. I can't wait to try it. Now, of course, you're like, can't wait to try this. It's so fun and cool. And you shoot, you're like, yeah, this is neat. I'm taking pictures. And then you look at the photos, you're like, ugh, like that's cool aesthetic. And then later on, you're like, I don't want to show anybody those. They look awful. And like kids aren't playing with these. This is, it's not something you would give a kid and like, go have fun. No, like my daughter tried it and she's never asked about it again. She doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Which is exactly what I predicted.
I think they're cute keychains. I don't think they're very good cameras. This reminds me,
mad.
Jordan, what did we see? You saw it and you pointed it out to me in Atlanta. You're like, look at what camera she's using.
Oh yes. It was the, what was the name of it? It was our very first Jaron gives us a garbage camera from like 3 years ago, because it's a big camera with a dash cam stuffed in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And the model number is really going to bug me now because it had a hilarious name. But I've seen one in the field. She was taking out a group of like preschoolers or kindergartners or something like that. And their school trip photos were being shot on a dash cam.
She looked like she was having a blast, man.
She was using it.
Yeah, she was following around. She was snapping pictures with that piece of crap.
Looking through the faux optical viewfinder that doesn't match the framing at all, so that'll be interesting when those get back to her.
Look, I was charmed by it when I was shooting it for the one day, and then I was like, that's good. I'll never have to do that again.
No, that was the Charmera you were charmed by, not this thing.
No, that thing's awful.
Now I got to look it up.
This was the same year that I made you use that zoom lens that it was essentially like two tubes with plastic lenses between them.
I hated that. Oh, you're talking about,
the one that Jordan had to shoot with where it made you sick because it was so jello-y. Yeah.
This is fine. This is great.
Snapback A1 for those.
The Snapback A1 from Rito that redos everything. But like, this is great because this is a nice camera. It's got beautiful styling. It's still cheap. It gives people an experience, and this is doing the opposite. This is giving you a camera that's basically giving you disposable camera image quality, but you don't have to keep wasting disposable cameras because they're not great for the environment. Let's not kid ourselves. So like this keeps those from being made, and it's great. So I'm all for this. And I have to admit, the new Charmera, the styling looks nice. Like it does look cool. No doubt. But it's just style. It's just skins on otherwise plastic crap.
Jordan,
I'm gonna be digging for a while. I don't know if I can't wait to play with it again. Or garbage camera. Let's see. Garbage? No, Chris likes that word. Let's try trash.
While you're digging through that, cheap? Chris, your shirt is directly related.
How fortuitous
to this concept. So you talk about LoCA all the time in lens reviews.
Longitudinal chromatic aberration, which is where you get color fringing in the foreground and background out of focus areas, and it's very hard to remove in post.
Yes. So Jeremy wanted
great
to
article.
do a
great article
deep dive on what it is and how companies are trying to correct for it. And so he spoke with Fujifilm, Canon, and one more company was in here too. I think
you had a few in there.
Nikon. Yeah, it was Nikon.
Yeah.
And essentially was like, what is like the scientific physics way of dealing with this? And then also, there is a way to deal with it, but what are the downsides to doing that? Like what happens when you actually fully address the LoCA issue? Well, then the lens becomes ridiculous, like the amount of glass you have to put in there. So these guys are constantly balancing calls and demands for smaller, lighter, while also knowing that they have to try and correct for aberrations as much as possible too. It's a balance.
It's a science.
Yeah, it's a great article. I mean, as we've talked about many times before, like the whole thing with lens design is, as you say, it's a balancing act. If you push or correct in one way, it might take away from another. The answer to really make a lens corrected in a lot of different ways is to use very expensive glass, thus a very expensive lens, or to also use extra glass, which then has its own issues with weight, size, other refractions you have to deal with. It's a very cool, very complex science and art, and the people that do it are incredibly intelligent, and I don't even want to pretend to have even a basic understanding of what they understand. But LoCA it's a great article. Everybody should read it. I mean, Jeremy did a great job. It's very comprehensive. It's neat that you get to see a perspective from different brands and how they deal with it. How modern technology has made a lot of these changes possible over time. How a lot of these issues weren't necessarily an issue back in the day, like in the analog days, or not as much of one, but are more so now. Like, it's really cool. So definitely check it out. And the fact that our lenses even take photos in the first place is pretty incredible when you look at all the design and research and art behind it.
Speaking of not incredible, the NBD camera, no big deal camera. And the keyword I was looking for was worst. The worst camera we've ever reviewed was the name of the video. So,
dude, again, I've completely erased that from my memory because that's what I do with traumatic memories. And you're right. We saw her in Atlanta, a teacher with kids using one, and you were like, "Whoa, NBD." Yeah, I never want to touch that again. Anyways, LoCA.
Thank you for letting me have that digression.
You're right. There's a
LoCA
picture
bad.
in here from
LoCA
Canon
bad.
that is truly impressive levels of LoCA, where like the top of the photo is purple, or it's like tealish green, blue, and the bottom is like bright magenta. It's beautiful, and by beautiful I mean heinous. This is the kind of thing you're trying to avoid. Yeah, it's wild. When you see LoCA, I never really looked for it before. Until you pointed it out. And now when I see LoCA, all I can think about is like, good Lord, that would be hard to remove in post. You know what you could do is you can make it black and white. That would fix it.
And so, you can. Although, I mean, it's all about your light rays coming to the same point. Ideally, that's what you would want every time. It just doesn't always happen. But, LoCA can also manifest in a black and white image as like a loss of sharpness, as like a bit of a glowy kind of thing. Like, it's that's why we test for it. And anytime we don't talk about LoCA in our videos, just so you guys know, it's because it wasn't an issue. Like, it was a non-issue. We just don't even bring it up. But we always test for it when we can, especially on lenses that'll normally exhibit it, like very fast aperture lenses and maybe telephoto more so. But we test it on everything, and if it's an issue or if we notice it, we do tell you about it because it is important to understand these things. It's not only fascinating, but it does affect your images, sometimes more than others.
All right. One last thing. So this story is being written right now. But I do want to cover it because it appeared on some Japanese rumor sites / news sites that Cosina had patented the optical design for the Zeiss Otus ML lenses, the ones we talked about earlier, specifically the 8514. So here it is. Last week, Japanese photography blog Asobinet published a Japanese patent application filed by Cosina that appeared to show the optical design for the Zeiss Otus ML 8514. English language media followed up earlier this week, speculating that Cosina may have designed Zeiss's new Otus ML lenses, which themselves reflect Zeiss's serious recommitment to the photography space after a relatively lengthy quiet period. So I knew that Cosina was involved. It's just not something that anyone really wants to talk about from a business perspective because it doesn't make Zeiss look right. But we got a quote from Zeiss, and they have said that these claims that they were developed and made by Cosina are incorrect. Here's the quote. The optical design and mechanical concept of the Zeiss Otus ML family is the result of Zeiss's own development. Building on decades of our lens design expertise and the heritage of our renowned Otus lenses, Zeiss is and remains fully responsible for the concept, specification, and design of these products. As is common practice in the optical industry, Zeiss collaborates with selected manufacturing partners for production. Such collaborations, however, do not change the fact that the underlying design, performance targets, and quality standards of Zeiss lenses are defined and owned by Zeiss. So there we go.
Yeah, and it's an interesting story. I think I really would love to meet the people behind Cosina. I think that's a fascinating story because Cosina is one of these Japanese manufacturers that you might not have even heard about or maybe in passing. They have been for decades making products under other people's names. And it's a really interesting story, I think, there. I would love to get behind it. I mean, the Epson RD1, all the Voigtlander Bessas, the Voigtlander lenses are all made by Cosina. The Nikon FM10 was an affordable mechanical manual camera, Nikon branded, made by Cosina. It's one of these things where they've made so many different optics and camera systems. Like, very few manufacturers do that, right? Like, as a sort of third party making both bodies and lenses across multiple brands with multiple license names. It's kind of interesting. So I really want to delve deeper into the story of Cosina and what's behind all that, who these people are.
Cosina is very difficult to communicate with, and I say that literally. Their English is basically non-existent. And I had a weird situation where I can't email them unless I'm in Japan.
Oh.
Like I've tried to, I emailed them successfully when I was in my hotel room in Tokyo. And then I came back and their, whatever email firewall they use blocked my emails as soon as I was no longer in Japan.
Yeah.
So maybe I should try and email them again, this time using a VPN, and see if I can get my email to go through.
But because, again, maybe the whole point of making stuff under other people's names is that you don't have to do the marketing, right? Like that's kind of, maybe they love it that way. They're like, we build it and they sell it. Like, it's an interesting dynamic.
Okay, last one, which you could barely consider our main story, is while we were in Atlanta, I saw a Nikon S3 Millennium Edition on a shelf, and I'm like, oh, I want to play with that, and I did, and I wrote an article about it, and then someone from KEH happened to have the 105 2.5 for the S series. They just had one, heard that I had the Millennium Edition, brought it to the Beers and Cameras event. I shot with it that night, and it reminded me how much I love that lens, because they made it slightly different, like updated version for SLRs, but it's basically the same lens, and it shoots the same, and the pictures look basically the same. And I was thinking to myself, that reignited, because last year I wrote a story. It's like I'm starting to get upset that Nikon hasn't remade the 105-25.
Right.
And now I'm even angrier. So the thing that I brought up was Nikon's classic lenses, and there's a group of them, are like revered and loved to this day. Is there a reason why we can't see a heritage series, is what I'm calling it in quotes. Nikon, that one's free. You can have that. Call it the heritage series, where they just re-released the same optical formulas from back then. And there's two ways to do it, I argue. You either take that optical formula and you rehouse it with autofocus, or you take that optical formula and most of that and just rehouse the mount and distances to work on mirrorless cameras, and it's manual focus only. I'm fine with either of these. I'd prefer the first one. But I've seen in some comments that some people don't think it would be possible to give me autofocus on these older designs.
100% it would.
Okay, yeah. That's what I wanted to ask you, Chris.
100% it would. It's not going to be
I don't need it to be very good.
It's not going to look the same. It's not that the issue is it's not going to look the same, right? Because like those old manual focus lenses are using mechanical helicoids, basically screws, right? Screwed barrels, and that's what's moving the elements around. So if you rebuilt it, obviously you can put an old school formula with old school glass and the same old school design onto moving elements and drive them with motors. There's no issue there. It's just the lens isn't going to look the same. It's probably going to be a little bit bulkier. Physically, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
physically.
I don't care.
Yeah, of course you don't. Yeah, so that's what it is, right? Like you kind of have to have the spacing for screw drives and STM motors and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, of course it's possible. Why would you do it is really the question. And I think Nikon doesn't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it, really, because first off, there is still a large number of manual focus lenses out there that are working and that you can buy for relatively inexpensive money. And you can put on adapters and you can use them on your cameras to get the look, right? Lots of people are shooting these old lenses on modern digital bodies.
Especially in video. These F-mount lenses are very popular for a certain look, right, Jordan?
Levi Holwell's rocking his Nikors all the time.
Yeah, we used one on Walk Down to Water. I mean, I think the point there, even outside of Jaron wanting autofocus, is we really want these things chipped so EXIF data carries over. Because, yeah, it is frustrating to shoot video with Nikon lenses manually punching in your focal lengths and everything like that.
Sure.
And just to be able to automate some lens corrections as well would be a really huge upgrade if they were to make these things new, for sure.
That has, though, been somewhat addressed by companies, as aforementioned, like Cosina, with their Voigtlander Nikon F mounts, which are chipped.
It's like avoiding what I want, which is I want these
You want
lenses.
the classic look. You want the classic look.
I want my 105-25. That's really all I really want. But Jeremy was saying while they're at it, they could do the 28-28, the 35-28, the 55-12, the 85-18, and the 135-2 F2.
Yeah.
Sure. great. I'll take those too if that means I get the 105-2.5. That's
Sure.
all I care about personally, selfishly.
Obviously, the optical formulas are not a mystery. They have all this information. What would be difficult is now having to retool your optical factories to rebuild these lenses and to design around them some sort of autofocusing system and all that kind. I mean, it's I don't know if they feel the demand is there. Canon's not going to do it. I mean, you could ask this question of all the companies, right? You could be like, Ricoh, redo the entire line of Pentax K-lens. They got so many.
Well, yeah, but and also there's only like 14 people with K-mount DSLRs that are alive that have these cameras.
Wow.
So there's no market to
Sure.
sell them to.
I know your point. I know what point you're trying to make. Obviously, Canon's got a long line of very beautiful rangefinder lenses, FD lenses. Like,
But
these
Canon
are all
has
well loved.
been pretty vocal about not looking back and only
They will
looking
never
forward.
look back. So yeah,
But Nikon has looked back.
Yes. So, yeah, and I think there's such a huge dearth of classic looking lenses. I know, Jaron, you brought up Voigtlander. A bunch of people are like, oh yeah, I just want Z-mount Voigtlanders because aesthetically they'll match really well with my ZF, ZFC. Here's a great way for Nikon without a whole bunch of R&D to just have lenses that aesthetically will match really nicely with this without the ugliness of that F-mount adapter tube, which they haven't made a vintage version of yet. And then the other thing, if we're looking at this, is it doesn't have to be Nikon necessarily. Like, I think stage 2 or 3 of Light Lens Lab, this would make a ton of sense. Is like, hey, we're taking vintage formulas and giving them chips and autofocus, or Typoc or someone could do that. That would be a great option for third-party lens manufacturers to try and rebuild these with modern conveniences.
I mean, you could argue that a lot of the Chinese manufacturers are now already remaking lenses in a more old school way, basically because of cost. I mean, TT Artisan's a good example of that. Yep. I'm going to put out maybe an unpopular, what I think is a truth here, though. Because I have a whole line of Nikkor lenses. I've used them my whole photographic career. I consider myself quite familiar with the system. And I would just say, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but frankly, they're not that good optically. Okay, that's why. Like I know and I know I always say
I don't want them to be that good.
I know. It's a vibe. I know it's a vibe. But like on a modern digital sensor, these lenses don't do a great job. And I know it's a vibe thing. And I know for video, frankly, video is not pushing nearly the same resolutions in a lot of cases. So it's like, they're not that good. Like, they're quite soft wide open. They've got serious vignetting, like lots of chromatic aberrations. And so, yeah, I get that you're buying it for the vibe, but why would a manufacturer decide to make a series of remakes on lenses that people might shoot and be like, blah, these things are not very sharp and there's all sorts of weird color and whatever. On film, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm just saying, man. Like, we have to be realistic. They're not very good. Which is why I could see Nikon being like, let's make a 28mm f2.8 modern prime lens for the Nikon ZFC and ZF that looks like an old lens, but absolutely delivers the resolution required.
I'd be okay with that too. I would be fine if all those lenses I mentioned were remade with modern optics. I would still get what I want, which is a 105-2.5.
Sorry, breaking news. The
it overheated.
Luna Ultra overheats just shy of 3 hours in 4K 24p. Very impressive performance. Sorry about that, everyone.
And it's really loud when it does it.
It lets you know, because it's designed to be used away from the camera. So that makes sense. Yeah, cool. Wow,
as usual, we've left very little time for tech support.
We have plenty of time. Here we go. Tech support time.
No, we got to do what you've been up to.
Oh, that's true. We did do a little bit of that when we entered because we talked about shooting different episodes.
Yeah.
For sure. What have you guys been up to?
I saw Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg. And I am a late day Spielberg apologist. I think West Side Story is a masterpiece. I think The Fabelmans also a masterpiece. I think this is actually his weakest of the three, although it's definitely his most popular of his late term output. But incredibly well-made filmmaking. If you're looking for like old school blockbuster, a lot of people are saying muscular filmmaking where the camera is moving a lot. There's a lot of practicals. They drive a car through a house. When you drive a real car through a real house, it looks really different from CGI hogwash we see on Netflix. Fun movie. I don't think it all holds together, but Emily Blunt should get an Oscar for it. She rocks the house in this thing. I think it's her best performance ever.
I should see this movie. I have not seen it.
I think you'd like it, Jaron.
I will see it.
It's another earnest sci-fi movie. Like I said earlier in the year, like Project Hail Mary will not be cool. This movie also will never be cool. It believes in the goodness of humanity, which is...
forget it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. Which is not timely for sure. But it was a great time at the movies. I brought my kid, and he really enjoyed it as well. So This was my first time. I've never been able to see a Spielberg in the theaters with my kid. West Side Story was COVID, and we're not watching The Fableman. He doesn't need to find out about Seth Rogen just totally hooking up with Spielberg's mom. This is a great gateway for him.
I think that's a fetish for you, though.
Rogen?
I got married.
What?
No, not really. I mean, I'm effectively married for many, many, many years, but I did get the new Ringcon 3 smart ring thing, and I'm wearing it because I won't wear a watch, but I will wear this. So there you go. I'm married, so all you ladies can stop hitting on me, and on top of that, it'll now measure my blood oxygen and my heartbeat and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool. I'm like,
Seth Rogen too. Chris is off the market now. You can't break up his marriage as well as Spielberg's.
Well, he could. You could break up my marriage.
Man, I fell for that hard. I was ready to believe that. You actually went through the whole ceremony.
Yeah. What else did I do? A coffee cup fell out of my upper drawer because it's up in the upper cabinet, and I caught it right before it hit the countertop. But then another one tumbled off of that, hit the cup that was in my hand. They both smashed. I cut my pinky finger open really badly, actually. I had to tell Levi, hey, I need another half hour. I'm bleeding profusely. But yeah, I'm okay. I'll be okay. But yeah, did that. Lastly, just enjoying being in the garden. It's really nice. Our peonies in Alberta are about to open. I know
That's
you're
funny. Mine are gone.
Back.
They're done.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Just about to open. It's a late kind of season that way, but bees are flying around and birds are coming to the feeders and the fish are happy. So the backyard's become an oasis of joy for my family.
I went to the coast this past weekend. With
lovely photos.
You made my wife jealous.
Bunch of happy Instagram
jealous.
posts.
Yeah. We went and enjoyed coastal food, and I went there and I was like, I want to take pictures. I don't care if they're any good. We'll see. I took a bunch. But I went to my favorite places to go, and I had never been there with my panoramic cameras. So I went there with 2 panoramic cameras, 3 panoramic cameras, actually.
Damn, you guys
I had a TX1, I had my VZ6617, and I had my Sasquatch with me. And I photographed the VZ with a 210 millimeter lens. And then I shot the
you just got
Sasquatch.
that, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wanted to get some samples with the 210. And then I shot with the 90 millimeter on my Sasquatch, and then I shot with the 45 on my TX1. So I'm got to drop that film off. But I greatly enjoyed fried fish. I went to the Pronto Pups and got myself a Pronto Pup. We had pizza. So there's a PetaPixel fan who lives out there who said, hey, I know a spot that might be pretty for a photo. It would have been if I wasn't melting. This place was so hot that we were in a heat wave over the weekend. But there's a restaurant there called the Salmon Berry, and I'm like, sure, we'll have dinner. Amazing pizza. Legitimately amazing pizza. I was very impressed with the pizza. Asparagus was good. So anyway, thank you for the recommendation. And yeah, just really enjoyed the coast. It was really nice. Really good time to be there. We had been planning to go since February, so we really just lucked out on the time. My battery died. I'm going to swap it out. But with that, we'll lead into tech support. I'm going to read this with a blank charge your battery screen. You guys get to enjoy that. This is an email from Casper. You stated... Oh, wait, I'll do this one after because this one's for me. So we're going to do Elliot from Chicago first. Hi, Jaron, Jordan, and Chris. I've been thinking about Chris's idea about wanting a square format digital sensor for a true digital TLR. And I have to say, Chris, even the guy who occasionally channels his inner get off my lawn about some new photo trends might be onto something here.
You're darn right.
A square sensor could benefit working photographers in a way that going beyond the TLR concept. The Fujifilm GFX 100 RF is the clearest proof of concept we have right now. That camera's selectable aspect ratios show exactly how a single sensor can serve multiple shooting disciplines depending on context. A square sensor would take that idea and run with it in ways that could genuinely reshape how professionals work. Chris, you take over while I change my battery.
So Elliot keeps saying, here's what he keeps coming back to. On-camera flash consistency is a big one for me personally. I shoot corporate events and galas. I don't always use a flash bracket. And one of my regular clients specifically asked me not to shoot vertically because the light changes with on-camera speed lights. With a square sensor, I shoot everything square and crop to whatever orientation I need in post. So that's really cool. Same thing applies to photographers with mobility issues. I'm paraphrasing now. Physical limitations that make rotating the camera difficult. Square sensor, you don't have to move things physically to do portrait and landscape. So all these things, photojournalists who are working in unpredictable environments could just make choices later with aspect ratio. It goes on and on. But yes, social media. Like, what really I want to get across is that Elliot from Chicago is clearly a very intelligent human being who knows exactly what he's talking about. And yes, this is a beautiful idea. And thank you for bringing up as well that, like, I want the digital TLR square sensor with 2 different focal lengths, because you obviously don't need a viewing mirror kind of thing. 2 different focal lengths in a digital TLR, because I think it would be an awesome shooting experience. There is something to be said for waist level shooting like that. The cameras look beautiful. Like, that's an experience that a lot of people haven't had. I want it for the shooting experience. But Elliot does bring up some good points that would also have practical benefits going forward. So would I personally want to crop the sensor down to different aspect ratios? Maybe not, but that's always an easy alternative. I want it because I want square. I think the square aspect ratio is underserved and incredibly beautiful as a format. But anyways, Elliot, you're a super smart person, and I really appreciate your feedback. You're absolutely 100% right. And this idea is gold, and I don't know why anybody doesn't do it.
We were at Fujifilm recently, chatting with them, and while I wouldn't shut up about them remaking the TX1, Chris came from the other side and told them they needed to make a TLR, and they weren't exactly sure.
They'd be perfect.
They didn't, we didn't know this, but Fujifilm did have a TLR in the past.
Yeah, Fujicas.
Yeah, they could link to
under the Fujica brand. Yeah, they have the heritage. They could take GFX wafers and just make them square, and then make like beautiful medium format, air quotes, TLRs, digital TLRs with 2 focal lengths. Brilliant.
Jordan has nothing to add.
I got nothing.
Okay. The other one that I started reading from Casper is, to me, Jaron, you stated you don't like the Peak Design Travel 45L travel backpack. I do use it daily and understand quite well the problems. I have tried to find a worthy replacement for it for some time, but it is a very practical backpack on a bus and public transport. Sure, as long as you don't have to wear it for very long. However, when traveling abroad, I do find it more annoying. The shoulder straps are too uncomfortable. They're awful. The hip belt is too inefficient. It's badly designed. Those 2 things those are my words.
Jaron's adding his own thoughts here.
That's right. I'm going to Greece this summer. I'm considering bringing my S-Stop Talopa Duradiamond instead. Better for walking around. I would love for PetaPixel to do a master roundup for the best adventure travel photography backpack. The reason why I don't use Shimoda is because I'm situated in the Norwegian west coast, and there is an insane amount of rain here, and the materials from Shimoda leak under Bergen rain. Really?
Interesting.
For the test, it would be more interesting in including a weatherproofing category where the materials are tested without extra protection. Oh, without a rain bag, which I
We have
I
done
agree.
that before. Yeah.
I hate the rain bag, so I agree with him on this one.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need one. Of course, the definition of adventure photography backpack is quite wide. I use the Peak Design Outdoor 45L for day hiking in Norway. God, you're brave. And a Norona Synchro Flex 125 for camping. I'm not aware of that bag. For me,
that's a huge 125 liter. Like, that's your full-on adventure.
Oh, like a
up
camping
to here,
bag, yeah.
camping, carry everything backpack. Yeah.
For me, an adventure photography backpack must have rear access, comfortable shoulder straps, and hip belt that works. A 16-inch laptop compartment, water bottle solution holder, or whatever. Robust materials for monsoon-type rain and easy to travel with. Sincerely, Casper. I actually have a suggestion that if you really care about the rain protection and don't want to use a rain bag, what was that?
Garbage bag. That was the solution in Alaska. Worked
not
great.
A solution.
No, I had a bag that I used in Alaska that I didn't use with a rain cover because I didn't realize that it needed one, because the bag itself felt like it was good enough to not need one at all. I'm going to look it up here because I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I will loop back to it, right. Casper. But that bag took some abuse in Alaska, getting rained on for 2 solid days, and the interior stayed dry. By the end of it, you could see just a little bit was creeping in, but It held up, so I'll bring that. I think it's called. I can't remember the name. It might be the Fjorden or something like that. I'll look.
I use the Orvis roll top backpack, but that's like a general purpose waterproof backpack. It's not great for photography at all in any way, shape, or form. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. You already tried the Shimoda because my go-to is always Shimoda. I think they make great backpacks. I love the way they feel. They're comfortable. I've used them with the rain covers in rain, and they're fine, but obviously not anywhere like we had in Alaska or what I imagine you say Bergen, Norway would be like. So yeah, it's, but they've always been so comfortable and I like the way that they design their bags. It'd be good to do a recap or a test out on it when we have time is the trick. I don't like the Peak Design backpack either. I don't find it comfortable or useful in the way it's designed.
The new one is more comfortable. It's still hideous bag.
Atlas makes strong bags, but they don't give you a lot of photo space.
Okay, so the one that I used, and I will recommend this is it's a roll top version. It's from Nya-Evo, the Fjord 60C. It's $519. It is expensive, but it has a very good camera cube, and this thing repelled water quite well. It has excellent waist straps, so those actually do something. The shoulder straps are both adjustable on the back as well as on the straps, which is really helpful. You can adjust it for your height, your torso height. Like, because Jordan and I, even if you shrunk Jordan down to my height, he would have a longer torso than me, so he would need a different shoulder attachment. So like the longest torso. Nya-Evo, the Fjord. This is a very good bag if you are looking for one still. I know I'm a little late to this because you know tech support we get kind of backed up, but it's still summer. So if you're going to Greece and you haven't gone yet, Nya-Evo Fjord is good. I'll put a link to it in the description below. All right, last one is an email from Leon. Hey guys, you continue doing a great job. Thanks also for the terrific answers from Jordan on sensor development milestones. That was probably a while ago, but good job, Jordan. I have two more questions. As more and more theaters and wedding venues have LED lighting, I'm somewhat at a crossroads with my A7C II. Electronic shutter results in horrible banding, and EFCS still doesn't entirely eliminate the problem. Is there a way to resolve it with the same camera, or do I have to go for another camera that has a full mechanical shutter? Do cameras with fast electronic-only shutters, Z8 for example, get around the problem? That's question one.
Yeah, for the most part, a faster readout is going to have less of those. You can still run into it, especially with fast scanning LED signs. These are really bad at sporting events. Even if you've got a fast scanning digital sensor, it won't blur the readout on it, so it can be still quite jarring. But yeah, you'll encounter way less of it. The only other alternative is if you can find out a shutter speed value using electronic first curtain shutter, which works with the lights in the venue, you can do that and then just keep shooting at it consistently. But if your sensor readout is too slow for the type of lights that are in there, it doesn't matter what shutter speed you dial in, you're still always going to have issues. So you could try just running through your shutter values, see if you can find a combination that works. But for the most part, mechanical shutter or a fast reading sensor is better.
It's tough. That's why, this is one of the main reasons we had issue with the Panasonic S9 and its option of not having mechanical shutter. It's like these do have, some people will never encounter this as an issue, but it can be a real pain in the butt depending on what you like to shoot.
Second question. I currently use Lightroom Classic and it is SLOW. Slow.
Yeah.
Even working on a 12 megapixel JPEGs, opening files would take between 4 and 10 seconds.
What?
Slow. The computer's hardware is easily strong enough. Files plus catalog were stored on an internal SSD. All software is on current versions. Have you heard about promising Adobe quality control initiatives? Are there good working ways to transfer the Lightroom catalog onto good image cataloging editing software from another manufacturer? Adobe being expensive is bad enough, but expensive and dysfunctional just doesn't cut it. Their recent storage requirements for importing external files was already quite unnerving. What you're experiencing is not normal. Something is wrong.
Yeah,
right?
Mine's slowing down a lot as well.
4 to 10 seconds to open a single picture?
A 12 megapixel image, that sounds way too slow.
That's weird. But I mean, it's hard to say exactly what it is. Could be a memory leak or something. I mean, I'm having the same issue. I'm using a PC. I'm curious whether this person's using a PC as well. But yeah, PCs get loaded with all sorts of junk and then they become problematic and slow. And so like my Lightroom takes quite a bit longer now to like opening files isn't a problem, but like actually
firing
loading
up the program.
Frack, it's annoying. And then exports and stuff feel slower. Like overall, it's just a ponderous My favorite word, Jaron, process. And so I'm getting frustrated with it too. And you're like, wow, what do I do? Just format everything and redo it? That would probably help for a little while, but I don't know exactly why you'd be having that problem. But I'm with you. Adobe is not the best optimized software on systems for sure. I don't know of any way you could really export your catalog to a different software.
I think what might be causing a problem too is if your catalog and if you're loading all those catalogs and you have a lot of catalogs and all those catalogs are full, that will tank performance. So my recommendation is to like remove some of those catalogs if you're not actively using them, or trim down their size. That might help. And if you're on a Mac, don't use the internal SSD. Use an external SSD. Unfortunately, Macs are typically, I don't know if this is still the case, this is the way I've always operated it, but the less stuff you have on your Mac itself, the faster the computer runs. I don't know if that's still the case, but I have been doing it for years and I've never experienced major slowdowns. So I'm going to go with it's still a thing, even if I'm wrong. Anything to add, Jordan?
Nope. I'm not currently using Adobe.
Got it. All right. Feel good story of the week. We somebody sent this to us, a reader, stumbled across this, and it's out of Japan. This is actually the same guy who gave me that giant Ziploc bag full of expired film. His name's Mark. He sent me this tweet out of Japan. Someone went through the extremely tedious and expensive process of photographing a scene with color checkers on there, with every modern available film in both color and black and white. So you can actually see how each of these films reacts differently. And that is super stinking cool. So he's got it uploaded as 2 videos. You can stop the video anytime so you can kind of see the differences between how they render color and shadow and contrast. Yeah. And so you can decide what do you like, and you can actually go get that film and have a better idea of what to expect.
Yeah, very cool project. Very cool. Obviously, a lot of effort, a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah, he shot these at different speeds and at different shutter speeds in some cases, so that you can kind of see how it adjusts with the exposure value. But yeah, dope. Love it. We
celebrate the people who do the legwork, because that's a massive
Thank you for doing
project.
it so we don't have to.
So yeah, I mean, I already know what I like, but for those of you who don't have a ton of experience with film and are reluctant to spend tons of money trying to figure out what colors you like the best, or in black and white, what contrast values and grain and that sort of thing, this is super handy. So yeah, there you go. It made me feel good. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you guys.
A lot of news this week. Glad we caught up. A lot happened, especially with the week we had off. But
we need to get through our constipated tech support.
Oh my gosh, we do have more. I will. I know that we're behind on speak pipes. I will do a bunch of speak pipes next week. So that is a guarantee. And yes, next week we're back on we're still on our normal schedule, and we'll be on our normal schedule for several weeks. We have a huge list of stuff coming up, including guests and cool topics. So there we go. Thanks everyone.
Bye everybody.
Be a PetaPixel member. You'll thank us. We promise. Bye.
Thanks.